Alrighty. Unmuted and good to go. We still got a few minutes before people pop in, and if nobody shows up, I'll just do some stuff. It's okay. I understand everybody's busy, and we can try again later next week. It's all good. We're getting to the point. I'll open up course chapter 3 today, and this is about the time where we start seeing a little divide between where people are pace-wise. And so I'm going to open it up, but I don't expect you to finish chapter 3 by the end of next week. It's just a lot. Hey, Michael. So it kind of give a chance to some of those people that got started late and whatever to catch up a bit. So we'll plan on having chapter 2 done by the end of next week and starting on chapter 3. So if you're already up there on chapter 3, good job. Keep going. Yeah. Hey, man. How's life? I'm tired today. My audio is coming in. Yeah, okay, good. So let's just play around with the exterior stuff and do things like I like to do, which is rather than a plane, let's do a landscape. And we'll do a landscape size landscape for my preset. Big O. All right, we'll do a few more rough furrows. Yeah, like that. Change the seed. It's not bad. Ayo. I was just talking about how we'll do week 3 or chapter 3. We'll open that up today, but I don't expect you to get through all that. And this is kind of where we'll start implementing a couple of those bye weeks, because I know there's some people that kind of started late, and so they need that time to catch up, because I really want a lot of people to not feel pressured and discouraged to get to a certain point. So I think around weeks chapters 3 and 4 is when it gets really heavy and we start seeing that divide. I really want people to be on the same page when we get into animation and stuff in chapter 5. So yeah, so we'll pace ourselves a little bit, but chapter 3 will open up, but you don't have to finish it by the end of next week, but you're welcome to if you want to. All right, so I was just going to kind of play around, and we can look at, if you want, we can look at your Porsche for a bit. Pull it up on the Discord here. Did you message me that, right? Yeah, there. No? Where'd you just post that somewhere? Questions? Yes, questions. All right, let me grab that and pull it over here. Ah! Where did I just put Discord? There it is. Nice. Okay. Bloop, bloop. So this looks awesome. The couple things like this, something about the interior, like the suede stuff. I think it just needs to be tiled more. Like something about that pattern, that sawtooth, just like that part of it feels CG, while the rest of it looks like it could almost be real. But then you have that, which really sucks away the realism. And I don't know why. It's just like the flatness of it. So it definitely needs some like Fresnel and some more like just, it's too bright in there almost too. So like that. But the tires definitely need some like natural, just like an imperfection layer on them, just to give them that roughness. So take an imperfection map from the asset browser, put it on there, just on the roughness, because they're too shiny. Like I know a lot of times you do like armor roll and stuff for shots, but it's a little too shiny. But the white paint, I think you nailed the lighting on this. Like this, like that is so cool. It just like shows off the curvature of the car so well. What I would say to do with some of these renders is maybe try again, do a little bump and roughness on the floor just to kind of give it some texture. is this looks really cool. Like I think the glass has a little too much dirt and stuff on it for how clean the rest of the car is. So I think dial. What about the weight? Of what? The roughness will affect. Well, I mean, the weight should be fine. You should leave the weight up. Yes. Yeah, Michael's right. You could do like a nice gradient texture. Let's see. Yeah, like this shot's cool. But like, you see how it's like a perfectly square line? The weight channel. Yeah, you can leave that up. Even if it's too much, you can dial it down. Definitely try it. It's a very easy slider adjustment. But yeah, so like, see how this is like a super sharp line? A lot of times in like studios and stuff, you'll have more of a diffused light on it and something. So you'll want, and let's just, you know what? Let's just play around with it. Okay, so rather than a landscape, let's just do a studio, and whoop, and we'll get rid of this. We'll come in here and we'll do HDRI, and we'll do like a nice, simple studio setup like this. Like this is a really great one. Can you see that? Oh Lord, where'd it go? So this, any of them like this that have these big, soft, see how it has like a gradient? That's like perfect for cars and stuff. And this is the one I'm looking for, is the one that has just a big, soft box on top. This, something like that, but less detailed. Where in the world did it go? I made things too big. This one. So it's just a huge soft box. Maybe that even would be really nice. And we'll try with that first. So we'll grab that and throw that in here. And we'll do our psych on there. Scale that up. Go ahead and take that, set it to like 40. That's fine. We'll keep it at that for now. We'll just scale it up. Big. All right, and then we'll go here and we'll say extensions, cargo, standard material connect. Let's grab a car. Vehicles. And we'll grab like maybe the sports car. Probably the best one to grab for this example. Sports car, 4K, Unreal, C4D, and import. It's not as cool looking as the Porsche, but of course, try it. Always does that. It takes it a minute to connect. It's definitely connected. C40 frozen? No, we're good. There we go. There's our car. All right, cool. Our backlight studio's pretty big. Cool. Nice. All right, so let's take our car and rotate it. Hang on, I've closed my chat real quick. Let me open it back up. There we go. And then do a landscape. Hey, Nick. Howdy. Welcome. Yes, I'll do a landscape after this. Fine. Okay. So what I'm talking about for like the car softbox and stuff is, let's say, what I would say for you is with that Porsche, definitely go in and just start turning off lights and work backwards from there. What's up, Dragon? How's everybody doing? Like, I've only gotten one reel, guys. Come on. Has anybody made it through week 10's content yet? Or week 10 for the beta, chapter 10 for this, because I've extended it out. Let's put this like back there. This is a big backlight. Stretch it out so it goes across the whole car. Make it thin. That stripe, kind of like we have there. And we'll render this. We'll have to change. We'll put a different car paint on this. But we'll talk about, we'll add that gobo to this, or that texture to the light, so that we can make sure that it's softer. So what we'll do is we'll say intensity of like 10, because we're going to take the spread all the way down to like 0. And let's refresh this. I want to make sure. Let's turn off the dome light because I want to see exactly what we're doing. Okay, so we'll say like 0.01. Okay, and let's move it back like that. And we'll grab our target light and pull it up. So it's definitely shining on our car. Okay. So we'll keep bumping this back up till we start getting that like that. Okay. So that's going to soften it up a smidge on its own. Let's keep moving it around. Maybe up. Yeah. Okay, so we have this like sharp line here, and part of it's the material, obviously. But let's say in order to make, because this has this nice like roughness on it, but we want this to look softer like on the glass, right? Because the kit bash materials that come in are a little too plasticky for my taste. You got derailed. It's all right. Like if y'all all have access to more feedback, like you still have your, I've got capacity to handle y'all's feedback right now, so take advantage of that for the next few weeks. There'll become a time where I'll be like, oh, it's too much now. But for right now, you can keep powering through and get those feedback sessions for sure. Okay, so I'll see how like sharp this is, right? And it's not just this one's broken up because of the goopiness on the car. But what we're gonna do is go in here and we're just gonna type in gobo. Because Maxon actually added a lot of really nice gobos. And the ones, you'll see these, but the one we want is this one. This is really nice square gradient. And this is just going to give you a super nice fall off. This is like really good for any jewelry, anything like that. It's always going to give you just a little less of a sharp line and more of like a softer fall off. Basically, it's kind of like shooting through a silk on on the set. So it's just a little nicer. If we tighten that up, you'll see it even more clearly. But yeah, so that would be kind of the first thing I would try to do. Is like start clicking off lights, see where they're at. But that gradient's going to give you a nice little fall off. It just makes it a little less sharp. Yeah, so that would be. I think that helps. Your car material is pretty solid. If you wanted to add flakes, you could, but I don't think you need to. I think your paint job is pretty great. Your windows might be too thin because it's like so easy to see inside of your car. It needs to like maybe be put a little bit of like depth on it for the material, like in the glass material. Like this little bit of depth just to make it like that little tiny hint of green to it. Or you could actually just come in here and type in glass. And there's a really nice one that's called like safety glass. That's a redshift material. It's like that, but it's this one right here. This is a really, really good one to throw on a car because it's like got that natural weird green tint to it. So you can throw it on there and see how that looks. Then maybe add a little bit of an imperfection map on top of that. But this should give you like really good, realistic looking car glass. We can maybe throw it on here and see if you can see the difference. It might go on the entire car though, which might look really cool. Yeah, I think we just put glass over the entire car, which is trippy. That's not what we want. Undo. Let's find the body. And then we'll go in here and let's just find, we need to go into the body and then we'll find the tag that's going to give us the window. There we go, window and lights. And we'll see. Well, I want to replace it and not overlap it, but I think we can just grab this and throw this on there now, and that should replace it. We'll see. I don't want to layer it on top. That's the thing, because we have this like translucent element here with this texture, because it's like built that way. So we could take it and maybe just replace that just to see. It's going to replace our like yellow and stuff there, but you can see how that glass looks. Like it just looks a little more natural. So what I'd say is with the safety glass, you come in here and you take an imperfection map. Imperfection. We're looking for something grayish, not so much white. So we want smudges and stuff, but nothing crazy like this. Not hairs, because they'll have too many straight lines, but smudges are good. Specks are good, like that. Specks. And we'll just grab that, pull that in. And then we'll put this in here. This is with our standard glass. And we can just throw that on the roughness and see, you know, how that looks on here. And I think if you isolate that, it's going to be too chonky and big. So you might need to dial it down. Yeah, so let's go ahead and add a ramp. And this is how I dial in all of my materials here. Just slide this up and slide this over. So we get less of the roughness in the darker values. And we really only have those little specks show up, which is what we want. So I went a little too crazy. Pull it back a bit. Back a bit more, maybe. Yeah, I might have gone even. Just walk it back. Yeah, like that. So we just have like a couple little specks of roughness there. Just enough to break it up, but not enough to be distracting. But yeah, and then we can come in if we want with this safety glass and step back the depth, because maybe it's because our glass is really thin. So if we make it like even lower, like 1, we're going to make it have kind of that tint right off the bat. So we'll say like 5. Or even like, yeah, 5 was probably good. 5, and we can give it just the tiniest bit of like gray. Yeah, just to make it a little darker glass. But yeah. Does that make sense? And also, I mean, not all glass has it, but I love to put just dispersion on. Somewhere around the 20s. Just always make glass look just cooler with a little dispersion. Also ups your render time like crazy, but there you go. I think this glass could use like a smidge of roughness. I mean, IOR tweakage. Pull that IOR up a bit. And then, yeah. But anyway, I think you get the idea that of adding in just a little bit of variance to stuff and a little bit of green. And it doesn't look that different, right? But it does, it's just subtle. Like the glass is here. It doesn't look perfect. But this one might look a little perfect. Let's take it out. And it might be the denoiser at the same time. But let's dial in the, where's my window? Where's my node window? I've lost it. There it is. We'll just keep pulling it back. We can really make it smudgy. We just want it to match. But yeah, I think for the interior of yours, I think that's really where the big issue is. I don't know. Yeah, let's take our car body, which is this, and we'll mess with this for 1 second. I have a theory with the way that these come in and how to fix them with Kit Bash, and I was going to do a video on them. So here's what I like to do. I'll give you a sneak peek, and you can decide if it looks better or not. So we'll take a snapshot of this so we can see it. And then what I like to do is I take this and I put it in the reflection color. I take the roughness and I put it in the coat roughness. I take it out of the regular roughness. I take the metalness value up to like 0.7. Change the IOR to like 1.8. And take the roughness out and put it all the way up to 1. And then I come down here to the coat. And I turn that weight up and lower that IOR. And I need to take my bump as well. This bump, and plug it into the coat bump. There we go. And then I take that and I dial it back. Or do I put it up more? My theory is that they just have it like kind of swapped because when they make it, most things don't, like other render engines don't have a coat layer, so they don't have that option when they're making stuff for this because it has to go across all platforms. So I think they're losing the power of Redshift when they do stuff like that. But I could be wrong. We could lower this down. And we need to make this raw. Doesn't look better right now, does it? Oops. What am I typing? Raw. Thank you. And let's just jack this up all the way to 1. Take the roughness down. Okay, now we're getting to some creative controls here. Let's take the weight of the reflection down to 0.5, roughness to 0.4. Let's see what that looks like. It's a little slow because I'm live streaming. That looks awful. It's interesting that it's being so wonky. Maybe I just need to keep my roughness on this and just leave a clean bump. I mean coat, sorry. I had a whole thing. This is what happens. I figure a bunch of stuff out and then I shelf it and forget what I was doing. It's like 0.1. And that gives it this nice glossy coat. And now we just have to control the actual roughness here with the metalness value. Maybe. We'll get there. Anyway, we could swap to a landscape. I tweaked a lot with this, and I eventually got it, but it's just slightly better than throwing the... Yeah, that looks better. And it doesn't, though, does it? Coat, roughness. And do I just leave this roughness down and make it shiny? Definitely not. Right? Maybe it's low, though. Now I'm stuck on it, guys. I have like a file saved somewhere. Let's up this to like 3. Maybe that's it. Maybe my IOR needs to be crazy high, 2.4. Gives it a more metallic-y look. Yeah, and then the coat, make it more metallic too, 1.8. Okay. Roughness to the base. It's just going to make it more white though, isn't it? Wait, that's why. My reflection color isn't coming in. Reflection color. Apparently I didn't hook that up right. That's the whole thing. That's the secret sauce. I did all this with plugging in the wrong thing. There. So that having that in there really brings excuse me, the color back. So that way just the coat layer is providing those highlights and the reflection layer is still providing the colors from that. So you get more of this car paint vibe to it. And now we're getting somewhere. And maybe we take the bump off the coat and just let it be shiny and smooth. We're getting closer. What do y'all think? That looks a little better. We're just like, is it this? 0.9. We're so close to being like good, but it's just slightly bad. That's better. Yep, and then dial this back down to like 0.1. Is that it? 0.2. It's this balance between this reflection and the coat reflection. So if we take the coat off, let's focus on that. Let's focus on this reflection first and what we want the base layer to look like. Because really I want the base layer to be pretty flat, but not super bright. So base layer, let's make it pretty flat, but take the strength of it down to like 0.4. Okay, and we'll say like 0.5. And that's too white, 0.7. And we'll see, this may be just completely wrong. And then we'll put our bump back on top with our coat. I mean, and that makes it wonky. So let's take our roughness out of the coat and put it back into our reflection. Maybe that was fine. We can move away from this though. All right, so now we have this crazy metallic car. Coat roughness stays low. I like that. IOR of the coat, let's crank up high, like 2.8. Give it really a real glossy look. Now, go back to our car here, and now adjust the roughness of this. Is that what I need to do? That's the question. How do I take this back to looking normal? Is it the metallic too much? Do I just do like 0.3? Start dialing back one thing at a time. This is how we troubleshoot. We'll do one thing and then I'm like, nope. That's good. 0.5. Yeah. .7. Okay. Now, I want to adjust. I'm going to take reflections off and just see what it looks like with the coat, just so I can see that the coat is doing the right thing on here. And that's where I see that I don't think the coat is. The coat is too rough, which is like, how? There's like no roughness on this. It's got to be the bump, right? There's no bump map plugged in. It's got to be the IR then. 1.4. 1.1, make it low. That's going to give it more of a glossy look, right? Take the roughness all the way off. Make it super clean. Okay, so that's like a very matte car with a nice gloss on it. We're somehow still seeing the bump map underneath the coat come through. I guess that's the roughness, so I guess that's fine. Take that, rewind it back. Little John. All right, so now we take reflection and crank it up. And we see that we can't even see the difference. 1.4. Maybe that'll make it more plasticky. I'm really gotten stuck. I feel like we've derailed completely. 1.8. Sorry, we'll come back. I'll spin. I'll set it. Do like I do with my daughter. We've got a timer. Okay, 2 minutes. And we'll get. But this is looking better. I think we do this. We get our dome light back on. It's probably going to be better. Yes, but it's too metallic. 100%, right? Off the track now. For sure. Tiny bit of roughness. It's this. And then maybe 1.2 there. And we go up. Back to this. And we dial this back to like 0.55. I think it needs to be above 0.5. That's not bad. Maybe take this to 2. What if I crank it all the way up to 3? 3 something. And, you know, like, you may be like, this isn't physically accurate. I don't care. I mean, I probably should sometimes, I guess, like, look up what final signing IOR is, but I don't know. I don't get caught up in all that sometimes. This is really close, though. 1.5, 1.8. It's good middle, right? And then we're dialing this in. It's got to be this 0.67. But lower the weight. Okay. Coat, lower the weight of the coat. Haven't tried that yet. That's not too bad. Now, if we plug the roughness map into the coat roughness, will that give us a nice look? Didn't hurt. Bump map into the coat bump map. Because the thing with bump maps is coat will always go right over top of bump map, and you'll pretty much lose your bump map. So putting it back on the coat is always good. What is happening with this window? I don't know. How do you make the ground look wet on a dark ground floor? But the wetness is like puddles in various places. That sounds like a ancient Chinese joke or something. This isn't bad. There's something off with the way, and I know this is from our HDRI, but it's just the roughness of this. Maybe we just need to crank this up to like 2. And don't be afraid to mess with texture maps, man. 0.4. Will that make it brighter? Yeah. So like 0.8. We go below 1 for the gamma to lower it down. Yep. And then we'll take our base color and we're just going to put in a color. Here's what we're going to do. Okay. We're going to do a ramp. Boom. And we'll plug this into here as well. It's going to make it black and white, right? Then we can take that into another ramp. And then we can control what color we want our car to be. So we want it to be, instead of black, we want a blue car. No, I know you're serious. Yes, I'll show you. Sorry. I will show you how to do that. Okay, so we made it too much was turned blue. But that's pretty cool. Let's do like an orange. It's kind of fun. Let's do black. Let's just do pure black, and we'll do like this. And if you really want to now, I mean, we can take a Fresnel and mess with that back on the front end of it all. I don't know. No, that's probably fine. We won't worry about that. So with black, the only thing is when you use pure black with a metalness value, it freaks out. So I always do like 0.1 or something. And it's actually easier to get real black that way. It just looks better. But yeah. Yeah, that's how you do the gobo for the light. We really got sidetracked there. But maybe you learned some stuff about doing car materials and how to do them wrong. Really, it's more about tweaking existing materials. But don't be afraid to mix things around. I don't like the way that that's turned out at all. So I would probably start over. That's what my next move would be. And try again. Okay, so let's create we've got our scene here, and you want to do like a wet floor, right? With puddles. So we'll take the backdrop and we'll just flatten it out like that. So it's just like going back into the space. Okay, and we've got a material we'll create, throw it on here. We'll make this, you want like an asphalt, right? So here's the thing. You can pick whatever material you want. This is my secret to puddles. So I was actually going to do a tutorial on this. I don't know why I typed in material there. If I come in here and I do like Effectatrons, materials, and I go with like stone, and let's say I do like a rough concrete, plop it on there. Take a look at this. Let's grab this, throw it in here. Whoa, I moved my, no. Why is this open? I've frozen it. How did that freeze it? Hello? Son of a... Well. Try that again. Maybe. There we go. All right. Yeah, super easy to do that, actually. Let's do it. Let's do it for real one. Let's open up Quixel Bridge. Actually, I'll do you one better. Let's do one that we can use. We'll go to Substance, Community Assets, right? Online. And we'll type in road. And we'll grab a cool road like this. Okay, nice patchy road. Easy peasy. Download file. We'll save it into session 124. Yeah, cool. Okay. Boom. We'll actually just open up browser. Downloads. Grab that. Just drag it in. There we go. Okay. And we'll drag that. Let that cook as it comes in. Okay. Once again, we'll just delete the backdrop. We'll put in a plane. Scale it up. Throw that on there. That'll be our road. As you can tell, it definitely needs to be smaller. So we'll tile that a bit. We'll say like 3 and 3. It's fine for the sake of this example. Right? Okay, so we've got our scene. We'll go redshift, render view, play. So we have a road. We could turn off this silly key light. So we're left with a little bit more of a moody road, right? Cool. And the backlight, let's turn it up and pull it back. So that's going to be key for these reflections. So lighting is as much a key to nice puddly floors as anything else. Okay. Using Quixel Bridge material. Okay. Well, it's fine. It'll work either way, because here's what we do. We have this, and now we're going to take that, whatever your material is, and you're going to go into it, and Substance works like that, but we're going to go into it, and we're just going to take the roughness values of it or whatever, or maybe even just add a coat layer on top of it of just like 0.3, which is just going to make it look a little wet. You can either do that, or you can do go into find your roughness map, which is going to be trickier to do in the Substance material probably. If this freezes again because I'm using Substance, I'm going to be mad. There we go. So we can adjust the roughness in here somewhere. But look at all these cool things you can change. The amount of patches. You can change how the patches are on there. Everything. Okay, the coding layer was too much. But if we take the bump map and plug that into the coding bump and take the roughness and plug that into the coding roughness, Well, not that. We don't want to do that. But we do want the bump in there. And we'll probably turn it down. I hate that I use Substance. Substance, it takes forever because it's kind of like, it's so procedural that it builds it out and cooks it every time. I wish that you could bake it down a little bit. Okay, so there we go. So now we've got that going, and we're just going to keep lowering this down to like 0.05. We just want like a tiny bit of shine, because that looks like wet concrete, but it's too wet. But now we have that nice bump on there. This is good. This is a good question, because I wanted to come up with a good way to do this and teach it real quick. So this is kind of what I do, is I do it like 3 times, and by the 4th time, I've got it kind of figured out. That's good. Nice little wet concrete. Whoa, yeah. That looks good. Okay. 0.05 coat on top, and then do the bump on the coat as well. Instantly, nice subtle wetness. Good. Now, how to do puddles, because that's what you want to know, right? Easiest part of it. New material. Open it up. Max our noise into a ramp so we can control it. And what we're going to do is, first, we're just going to replace this. We're going to isolate the noise here. And we want it to be big. We're going to choose turbulence. And then input, we'll probably say like 1,000. Maybe even more, maybe 5,000. I hate that they changed the noise scale. And so now what we can do is kind of adjust the low clip a bit and get some of that pulled in like that. We can add some octaves. That's going to give it a little more detail. And then we can start scaling up one direction more than the other if you want, like 2. And that's just going to stretch it out, maybe 3 a little bit, just to kind of give it more of a natural pool way. And I think we want to do it the other direction, because normally like roads and stuff go with the road because the cars like push it, you know? So we say 1, then maybe we say, do we say 3 on the Y or 3 on the Z? Most likely 3 on the Z. And that's going to pull it back that way. So it's more like that. Yeah. So maybe now we take this back down to 2,500. We can really start stretching this up if we want, but I think that's going to be too much. Something like that. And now we'll turn on the ramp so we can control that even more. And what we're doing here is, there's 2 things we're doing. We are creating puddles. And so the way this is going to work is we're going to use it so whatever we see is white here is going to be a puddle. So we don't want that much puddle. We want some gaps. And I think our noise might just be too big. Let's do 1,000 again. Yeah. So wherever is white is going to be that puddle. We'll take this back down to like 2. Just a subtle amount. Yeah. And looking at this, I like the way the black is looking for puddles more than the white. So that's okay, because we can use that. We just take this and invert it. And now we have white puddles and black, and that's actually more what we want. So we'll keep dialing this back. So this is going to be our puddles. So here's what we do. We grab this material. We just make it metal all the way, and we'll take the roughness like 0.1, pretty low. IOR of like 1.6. And we'll start with that, and we can add like bump and stuff to this, but let's say for that, that's what we want. So here's what we do. We take this ramp, and we plug it into the opacity. So now everything that's white is going to be this nice chrome material. Cool. Like that. So now, take that off our plane, grab our road, put it on our plane, grab our wet floor material. Once it loads in here, I should have chosen a Quixel one so it's faster. Okay, we got to tile this back down to 3, like that, right? Boom. And now we just take that and throw it on top, and because of material stacking and opacity, we instantly have puddles on whatever material you want. That's it. So then you can totally tweak it. You can adjust the amount of wetness. If you want, you can even come in here and take this and put it on the bump if you want, which might make it raise up a little bit. So you kind of have a little edge on the fall off, which I think looks kind of nice. And then you can totally change it. Change the seed, get different puddles, change the size, change the scale. But maybe the bump's not what we want to do. We might throw in a coat on top of this actually just to make it extra shiny. Yeah. Yeah, it's just noise, and the ramp is just to control it and invert it. You also could just take your noise and swap the colors if you wanted to, and then adjust everything inside of this output, low clip, high clip. But something about this visually helps me do that better, and we talk about that more in the next chapter. But that's pretty much it. You can throw that on there, and we just want to make sure that we really clamp it down. I really want it to just be. I don't want to put that gloss over everything, so I just want puddles to be wet and nothing else. So we're gonna make this a less of a gradient. So it's kind of like that, yeah. So maybe just a smidge gradient. So it has like a little fall off on the edge, but mainly just puddles. Yeah, and so we'll take the roughness even lower if you want it to be perfectly clear, like 0.01. There we go. And so you can adjust the feathering of that if you want how steep you want those to go. You can pull that back a bit. Make it more puddly, make it less puddly. So completely generative amount of wetness, which is nice. And still procedural, controllable. If you wanted to stretch out long ways down the road more, you can do that by scaling the Z, change the seed. Again, get a different look if you think you find one you like better. And then scoot it back, make a little more. Change the scale, whatever. 500. Does that help? Turn all these off, just leave the backlight on. Pretty cool. Yeah, turn the fill on. Turn it down. But yeah, so that's how you can do a nice, cool thing. That's how I did it on the scene. Let's see if I can find it. I filled up my drive recently, so I've had to move everything into a temporary spot, which is really annoying. Yeah, that's how you do any wet floor on anything. So we can change the floor to something else entirely and still put puddles on it. Where in the world is Carmen San Diego? Where do I put things is the question. Tutorials 2024. This is not hot anymore. I still have this on my list of things to teach, this nice little thing. You guys see a Lamborghini anywhere? Ah. Is that seen in here or just the render? Looks like I put just the render in here. I don't know where the scene is. But yeah. That's what I did with this. It's the same thing. There's puddles. It's just a map on top. This is a Kitbash building. Yeah. Actually, I am going to save that as puddle because I've been wanting to do that. So materials, we'll add puddle in here with glass. Okay, so if I, just swap out that material to like, a wood floor would look kind of funny, but we could do it. Let's do asphalt, right? Replace the road, asphalt. Oops. God bless America. This click. Render view. Yep, still works. Puddles are still on it. Asphalt's there. Cool. Change it to wood. What in the world? Although my wood looks funny apparently. I put the wrong. Maybe I don't need to tile it. But anyway, you get the idea that I don't know why that's doing that. Yeah. You can put puddles on anything. Cool. All right. Any other questions? We've got like 15 more minutes. I think we've hopefully taught something. I mean, I don't know if I have or not. I think the puddles was good. The car material thing, I think I was struggling with a little bit there. But yeah, so it works on anything, right? It's not just planes. Here, let's just put our regular psych floor back on this. Delete all this stuff. And we'll have our shader ball. Send me that file, please. Yeah, sure. And then we'll grab like a plastic, right? We'll throw this plastic on our shader ball. Click into this, take a look at that. Okay, neat. And I can grab this puddle and throw it on top of that. And it should act like little puddles on that, which looks weird on a 3D object and on a plane, but there you go. It does work. Pretty crazy. Just throw it on the floor. Instant puddles. Blah. Pretty fun. You want to see me play with Liquigen more? I mean, it's whatever y'all want. These live streams, I think we've covered some good. I mean, we talked about doing a landscape real quick, which sounds really fun. So maybe I'll do a landscape, because what I want to do eventually, Michael, which will tie into Liquigen, is I made a landscape, I modeled it, I brushed like a canal through it, and when I took that FBX into Liquigen, it kept like hitting an invisible wall and just splattering. So I've got to figure out how to make it. Because I want to do like through well, if I do enough hand motions, you'll understand. You know what I'm saying? All right, delete everything. Close that. Do landscape. Set it to landscape, which is my custom preset. All that stuff. Scale it up. Scale it big. That's too noisy. Maybe like that, but a little less. Too much of that. Like that. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's nice. All right. So we'll grab like a Quixel material. Hello. Throw some grass in here. What else we want? We want some weeds. I don't feel like downloading those. We'll do 2K. 4K grass is probably a little overkill, but get these downloaded. So one thing I've learned with Quixel was I was having a lot of issues with my displacement, right? It was coming in, it was being weird. Export that. I love how easy it works now. So what I've discovered is not that it's in the settings in here anymore, But now that they've updated Quixel Bridge and stuff, see some violets. And we'll do, what we have to do is we go in here to C4D, and instead of here under extensions, once it's done importing, we have Megascans plugin, right? Which is Quixel Bridge. It's all confusing because it's all, you'd think Bridge would be it, but no, it's Megascans. And inside of this, you have enable displacement. And so checking all of these on has made it work a lot better. Now, it doesn't automatically make it displace, because even though it does bring in all of these with the geometry tag, the displacement settings on, we still don't have this override on. There's apparently no way to like enable that on by default. So we have to go in and do all that if we want, but we don't need to do displacement on any of our plants, just the ground, right? And stuff like that, and rocks. So let's go to surfaces, and we'll grab, actually I probably have some local surfaces. Yeah, we'll grab like this Tundra Mossy. And we're going to do 4K for that. We should probably do 8K. We'll do 4K. 8K just takes so long. So much bigger. And what we want to do is make sure we have our landscape selected. And when we import that or export that out of Quixel, and it's going to go straight on to our landscape, which should be good. And then we can tweak that and stuff if we need to, but we won't mess with displacement just yet. Coffee's still good, even though it's not hot. What's y'all's favorite coffee? Mine is Kroger brand Kona coffee. It's not real Kona, it's like a blend, because real Kona coffee's crazy expensive. All right, so we're going to grab all of these. Actually, we're not even going to do that. We're going to go ahead and do matrix scatter. And we're going to do, as we saw, a redshift object, custom objects, and then we're just going to do this little select thing and shift click all the way down, and there we go. Now we've clicked all of our objects in there, set that to random, go to object, say object, grab our landscape, plop it in there. Boop. Got a couple of squares on there. We up this to like what? Not 20,000, but probably 200,000. There we go. And then we're going to go to MoGraph, Effector, randomize parameters. We'll say like 5, 0, and 5. Don't want to go crazy, but mainly, oops, wrong direction. We want to make sure, firstly, that instead of here, instead of our matrix object, we go to transform and make it -90, because that always comes in sideways. Anyway, back to this. Now, when we're affecting this, we should spin the right direction. Yes, and we'll do like 5 degrees in both those, because nothing's really straight up. And for scale, we'll do a uniform scale, and we'll do like 0.1. Nothing crazy, but just maybe 0.2. Just a little size variance. And let's do a dome light. So we can just put a sky in here. HDRI. Time is it? 7 minutes. We're good. Grab this sunshine, plop it in. Beautiful. We'll mess with more light here in a bit. Rotate it around, kind of like that, like a backlight. Redshift, render view, and go. We've come a long way from our puddly floor now to a big environment. And honestly, like if you're doing trees and stuff now, because originally, like, that's what I thought was going to happen. This stuff's going to be big, isn't it? Something is very large. Looks good though. Something is strange. One of these plants is freaky. One of these plants is very big. Let's bring in a person. What's the scale of this landscape? Bring in our person. Grab our placement tool, put them like right here. Okay, so it's not like a huge landscape like I thought it was. So let's make it bigger. Look at him. Help. Oh, let's make this, there we go. Add another 0 here. There we go. Make it bigger. That's going to be the first step. But obviously, let's do this again. Now, how's it looking? Now we need to place him back on the ground. Oh God, what did I just place? That's not the person. I think I just placed my cloner object. Figure, place him there. Okay, now we're looking a little better. Everything's just kind of big, isn't it? It's like really tall grass, right? Why is it so tall? Yeah, everything's huge. So we'll go to here, scale everything down to like I don't know, 2.5. But like these clovers aren't small. It's weird. Some of that grass we grabbed must have been very tall. That's too small. 0.5. Like that. That's not bad. This seems like about the right size. So now what we want to do is grab our landscape material. Obviously we need to like tile this a bunch. It's a huge landscape. Right, yeah. There we go. And now we can make our landscape taller again. We'll add like a 1 here. Turn off this. We'll do like 1500. There we go. Once again, grab our guy, click him, put him there. Okay. Cool. So our ground looks tiled about right. We obviously need way, way more things. I think this one plant is just the real issue. It's just kind of a weird color. But yeah, matrix object, let's just go ahead and add another 0 and just do 2 million. And should fill in quite nicely. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I can't tell if my chair is vibrating because the dryer's going downstairs, or if my back is spasming slightly. Just equally possible. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at him out there in his little field. Yeah, it's just these. These are too much. And so what we do is we find those. Who knows what the heck those are. We'll just grab this set and copy them, and then grab our cloner, and we'll add in this. Click. Oh, I should always just not render, but basically just double in, add in more of the same of the other stuff, so you have proportionally more of that than this stuff. But that's pretty good looking. You could throw in some rocks and things. Seems right. It's not bad. All right, let's throw in some trees, right? Cool. We'll save this before we break it. Trees. I don't know why I called it trees. I do that too much. We're going to go in here, go to models, then to plants, and then to Labvik. Here we have all these trees. We're actually going to use a cloner for the trees because we're not going to have like 2 million. And the cloner just really helps you visualize them. Now, this is where knowledge of like what things really look like comes into play. Like what grows in what biome. So a reference image would be very nice, but you know, we don't care about that here, do we? We can make it do whatever we want. Right click and load. So that's how you can drag and drop in multiple. It's not really dragging and dropping, but you can select them and then right click. We don't want these though. Okay, well, you know what? Just download that. And then select, no, control. Yeah, and then hit load. And there we go. All right, so cloner, all of these, pop it in the cloner. Cloner, set to object, obviously. Go down the landscape. Set to object. Go down to your landscape. Drag that in. Set it to multi-instance, clones, random. Okay. And now we need what, like 2,000 trees. We're going to make sure that we set those to -90 again. There we go. And if we want, we could put that same random effector in there. There we go. And so now we can start, dialing up this a little bit if we want. But, we've got a big landscape. Like huge. What's that look like? Redshift, render view. It's probably too big, but let's grab something from Kit Bash if it's not broken. Not a car, but a kit. It might make me update. We'll see. Okay, good. Do we want to do like a dwarven thing? An enchanted? Probably like an enchanted thing. We could put like a castle in there or like a shogun thing. What do we want to do? What do we want to put out in the wild? Something like this? That's too wonky. Let's do a Viking thing. Ahara. Perfect. Like a little Viking hut. Okay, let's do like a barracks, longhouse, a leather workshop, the Hall of Warriors. This one, a Viking royal house. Yes, of course. We'll do 2K because it'll be kind of the distance download. All right, we'll pull this in and wrap it up here. If there are any more questions, let me know. I appreciate all y'all tuning in. For sure, feel free. And yeah, I've got so next I've got a camera coming in. I ordered an Osmo Pocket 3 so I can have a better webcam because this webcam kind of sucks, and I want to do more like reviews and stuff, and like do compilations of like what are good websites to get products, what are good things, what's happening with AI, like just kind of newsy talking point stuff. Because you guys bring a lot of cool stuff into the Discord, and it's like, oh, I wish more people knew like what you guys are showing. And then I want to do more tech reviews. I've got this to review. It's pretty much why I ordered the camera, because I'm like, I need to do this justice. Also, I just miss filming. I used to, I was a videographer for like 20 years. That's not right. I'm not that old. 12 years. What's the best way to grow all the matrix? Well, you take the blue pill. Is animating the scale the easiest way? Yes, in a way. I have a tutorial on that with how to grow on stuff, and it would be it's on the YouTubes. That was a Canvas Pro, by the way. It's a pin tablet. I'm excited to try that out. Let's import this. But yeah, basically you use a plane effector and fields to drive it. So basically you set the plane effector to have the scale of 0. By default, here we go. It's not gonna work. Extension, cargo. This is why. Connect. Look at that. That's crazy. We need to add some big structures in there and stuff, but we could make like a whole village in here. We've got that's way too much land. What are we doing? It's perfect. I love it. Now I'm gonna get in here. Okay. I played around. Sorry, plane effector. I'm like waking up now. I feel like I'm gonna sleep all day. Is this coming in? Yes, it is. Excellent. plane effector set to 0, right, for the scale. And that way, wherever the plane effector is, in the, like, you can either use vertex maps, whatever, or you can just use like a gradient map or like whatever field you want. So you could use random map if you want to grow on randomly, or you can use like a spherical one where you can like control it and animate that as it grows. And you just set it so that there's like a fall off area. And so that when it is 100% not, you kind of do it. Yeah. So basically you'd have it all set to 0, but then it would grow it on. Watch the tutorial. It'll make more sense than my ramblings right now. But basically, yeah, you can 100% make it grow on. Now, if you wanted to have any kind of animation besides just scaling, you need to do that before you throw it in the matrix object. So if you want it to like uncurl with a bend or something like that, do it. And whatever I would say is whenever you're building it, build a small scale version first for speed. And so just like 10 things, see if you can do that. So do small scale first, get it looking right. And then once you take that and expand it into like 2 million, it'll look right. If you try to work with like 2 million every time, you're just going to get frustrated with waiting around and stuff. So let's see what this looks like. Does that make sense? Probably not. The YouTube is called Grow Anything or something like that. My channel. Apex. Shush, nerd. Videos. It's not too far back. There. Easily grow anything across multiple surfaces. So, oh my God. Here we go. Another ad just for scooting back. Making that money. Hey, Derek. See how they're like growing on? Wow. So you just make that fall off bigger. And see how they like wibble wobble? I just put wind on them before I threw them in there. There you go. Is the tut on Effectatron? Of course it is. Of course it is. Now, where is my render view? Play. Render me this Viking Valhalla Hall of Royal House. That's what it's called, right? Text from my wife. Yeah, so that tut will do it. I just want to see what this looks like, and we'll wrap this up. I would obviously want to throw in some more cliffs and things like that, and just start layering things in there. But look at that. I mean, we should probably displace our landscape. It depends on how close we want to get. Like if we're staying this kind of distance, I don't think we need to, right? Like you can't really tell if the land, if these little rocks are sticking up or not. It's all about what you need. So let's go ahead and make this cool by quickly adding in some redshift environment. Of course, set that to 0.01. Go into our dome light. Change that to 0.01. There we go. And then go to our environment. I mean, that's kind of cool. Take our fog, little gray, attenuation, pull it up a bit so we shove it a little further back. Maybe like 0.0018. Yeah, and then grab this scale, like 500. Is that going to be, that's too low, yeah. Crank it up. There we go. And we can start dialing this down so it's a little less intense back there. And again, we can lower this down so it's even less. I still want to see the clouds like kind of through there. There we go. And then what I would really do is first off, take the GI, crank it up so that we get a little more of that light bouncing off the front of our house. And then what I think I'd really like to do is throw in an infinite light or a big old area light. But we'll do an infinite light for now. And target tag and null. Take that target, slap it right here, right on the front steps of this house. Okay, grab that infinite light. And for the sake of figuring out where it is, we'll put it right there as well. And then we'll grab it and pull it back. And back behind the house, so it kind of matches our sun, like that. And obviously that's going to give us much, much more intense lighting. Again, 0.01. Then we could try to turn off our dome light and see like what we get. And not turn it off, sorry, but just turn off it affecting the volume at all. So we're only getting the infinite light affecting the volume, which might look nice. And we could start dialing that back up a bit. Yeah. And then we'll come in here. We just want it to line up with the sun a little more, right? So zoom it way back. It doesn't really matter. We just want it to be kind of angled the same. And that's going to look cool. Bye, honey. Maybe we'll block it just a smidge. And we'll go like a little off to the side. Pretty cool. This plant, I would do a different plant because this plant looks like crap. But anyway. Yeah. Not too shabby. And then lastly, throw in a material on our environment to give it that foggy look. Once again, max out noise into a ramp, which I feel like should just be built in at this point, honestly, for me. Throw that into the volume, delete the rest of this junk. Say FBM, input. Oh, this is the tough part because you can't visualize it. Like 500 to start. Really make it pretty intense like that. And this is really where you get into the difference between the fog and the haze. So I want to see it more clearly. So I want to have it influence it even more. Just so I can see the scale here. If I pull this, pull this up. I want to get that noticeable variance. And that looks small. So we're going to go bigger. We'll say 1500. We're looking for like big bushy beards. Here we go. 15,000. Am I seeing anything here? Output. Clamp it. I'm not seeing it, Lloyd. I'm not seeing it here, Lloyd. Let's keep clamping. Keep scaling up, I guess. I don't know. All right, maybe we need to do like turbulence. I feel like I should be able to see it at this point, right? I mean, we're really clamping it. You know what? I'm stupid. This whole time, no, it's on there. I was thinking it wasn't on there, but it's on there. It's on there. There we go. I guess because this was plugged in, it was freaking it out. Okay, that makes way more sense. Okay, now we can dial it back. Refresh. It's just being weird, isn't it? The scale's just too big. I think I just needed to refresh that whole time. It was being weird. All right, we'll get this looking a little cloudy. It's going to crash on me, isn't it? You know, you can just feel it sometimes. You use it long enough, you're like, this is taking longer than it's supposed to. That's not good. But size, take this back to 15,000. Spam refresh. Kit bash is fun though, right? Like putting that in there, it just takes it to the next level, like easily. You have all the assets and you build it. If you want Kit bash, use my affiliate link, please. I think it's worth it, but that's for me. I don't know why this isn't working. We can wrap it up here. This has been odd. I think I've clamped it too hard. I'm not sure what's going on. This is the hardest part, is getting the noise just right, because you can't visualize it. There's no like, just put a box up. You know what? That's probably what I should do. It's just make a box. Make this a surface. Put it in there so I can get like a visual representation of what that noise is going to look like. Maybe. That's too smart though. We don't do that here. Here it comes. Interesting. Oh, I love these little pockets. I just want it to be a little thicker. So, scale this down. Ooh, too far. Scale that back up. We're getting there though. There it is. So now we can make that haze just a little stronger. Maybe we take out the sky, right? We just make it gray. Crank that attenuation up so it's a little more. Yeah. Make it a little yellowy. Ooh. Blue. Too stylized. Probably just like a gray. Yeah. Neat. Kind of a cool shot. So imagine if we built like a whole city. We've got room for it. Holy cow. Why'd we build this so big? Turn the environment off. Infinite light. Crank it up to like 5. Wow. Why did we build it so big, everybody? Neat. Now I want to throw that in a cloner. Set this to multi-instance. Set it to object. Throw it in our landscape. I don't know, just took a bunch of that. Yeah, set it to -90. And we can go to the effectors and throw in that same random effector if we want to, which does affect the scale, but I don't care. There we go, a whole Viking village of royal houses. Oh, I'd rather I put like pull apart on it or something, but push apart, whatever. That's fine. You get the idea. We'll wrap it up there. Now I'll delete this and never see it again, but pretty cool. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hit me up with any questions you have for sure. And all of you that were from the beta workshop, still feel free to keep at it and keep sending me feedback for those products, because the last few chapters or weeks are the ones I think are really that stand out. So yeah, have a great weekend, everybody. I will open up chapter 3 to the premium members this right now. But again, if you're ahead, great. If you don't don't burn yourself out. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. That's why I've built in break weeks, not just for people to catch up, but so that you don't get burnt out. It's pretty cool. Whatever this really weird little gray plant is, it's throwing me off. That's wild. I just love that I can make it this big and then come in here and get that close to it and it look so good. That's cool. I will say, here's one thing I learned, right, real quick before we log off. Well, I used Unreal Engine the other day to play with Kit Bash. And C4D, I will say, is faster than Unreal Engine when it comes to this stuff. Basically, C4D, I could import in the project, set up my scene, and light it and get a render going before Unreal Engine even imported it. Now, that being said, once Unreal Engine did finally import it, I didn't have to touch Kit Bash. It just looked good. It looked really good. It looked better than it does in C4D, slightly on some of the smaller details like the bump and all that stuff just look better. But the speed wasn't really there because Unreal Engine does so much on the front end. That's why it looks so good when you finally get to the real time part. But when it comes to actually time of the project, for me, C4D is just less frustrating. But this is a really cool shot. I like this. So that's it. Just food for thought. Play around. If you have Unreal Engine, play around with it. I need 2 more. It's too much to play around with, though, right? Oops. I want to rotate it like this way and put depth of field on this. Like there. Bokeh 1. Turn this on. Too much. There we go. Nice. I'd probably do a different sky. More of a cloudy sky would be that. It is like eating Skittles and M&M's at the same time. Yeah. Yeah, and I was going back and forth. It was just like when I was doing Liquid Gen, going back and forth. The controls, it's so frustrating. It's funny. Yeah, I do a cloudier sky, and this will be a pretty cool scene. All right, we'll wrap it up there, everybody, for the 3rd time. We'll call it like that. Dome light. I'll just keep going. You guys can sign off if you want. Hang out in the if you guys want to hang out in the 3D chat anytime, feel free. Do I have one set up in the Mind Emotion server? I actually don't know if I do. Oops. Let me grab that. What is happening? Whoa. Ah! Don't let. Rotate. Nope. Rotate. Like that. Yeah. Take that. Detail. 0.01. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That is what I mean. As long as there's a place in the Mind Emotion group where people can like talk and share screens and stuff, feel free to use that as much as y'all want. Yeah. This is too crooked. That's like 4. Now we're talking. Saturate it like 150. Can I do that? Oh, I can. Nice. That's kind of cool. 0.1. 1. It's gonna be too much, isn't it? 0.1. Yeah. And then rotate this back. It's a 0. That's pretty cool. Anywho. Yeah. Something like that. Anywho. Later, y'all. I'm just gonna sit here and tweak this all day. And I might let's see, camera 150. Like an isometric shot. Ooh. And depth of field. Click, click. So I'm not seeing much of that. Now I'm just messing it up. It's kind of cool. All right. I'm done. I'm logging off. That's nice. I'm logging off as soon as I put some color correction on here. You know what I really want to do is start doing color correcting again. A lot of times with this stuff, and again, it's okay if you log off. And maybe just talking to myself at this point. But basically, I used to do a lot of filming in log and then, color correcting with LUTs and different creative things instead of Lumetri Color or DaVinci Resolve, things like that. And I kind of miss that. And I think the Osmo Pocket's going to help me get back into that. But I want to take that into my 3D more. So that's something. That's something. There we go. Pretty. Let's add a little more blue into the highlights. No, to the lowlights. Yeah. Anywho. We'll save this out. We'll render it for real and save it out, and I'll take it into Photoshop and mess it up more. Oh, cool. All right, I'll check it out. All right, thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll open up Chapter 3. Have a good rest of your day, y'all. Is it President's Weekend this weekend for my fellow Americans? I think so. The coloring, yeah. It's something I really want to get back into, honestly. Maybe I'll reinstall DaVinci Resolve. It's like it's like Blender and everything, man. Which, again, they're all the same. It's just learning where things are and what they're called in that program. But yeah, I like the way DaVinci works because it's node-based, which makes a lot of sense. So anyway. All right, y'all. See ya. End the stream. Am I sure? I'm sure.